Up until now, our objects don't interact. They pass right through each other. In this video, we're going to fix that. And we're going to do it without physics. No engines, no forces, no magic. Just math. Collision detection sounds complicated, but at its core, it's just a question. Do these two shapes overlap? For most beginner games, that shape is a rectangle. If two rectangles overlap, we say they collided. That's it. So in Phaser, our game object has what's called a bounding box. That box represents the area it occupies on our screen. In Phaser, we can ask our game object for its bounds. This gives us a rectangle with an X position, Y position, a width, and a height. This rectangle is just data. No behavior, just numbers. Once we have the rectangle of that game object, we can then use math to see if those two rectangles overlap or not. Phaser gives us a helper for this. So if we do console.log, let's log out our player. Now we're going to use the getBounds method. If we log this out, over in our browser, we have a new object. That object represents that rectangle. We have our width, our height, and our X and Y position of where that rectangle is for our bounding box. We can use this for both our player and our falling objects to get our two rectangles. So for our collision logic, we'll want to do that in our update method. So now to do that in our update method, we'll go into our loop for our falling objects. After we update our object's position, now we'll want to do our check to see if it overlaps with our player. For that, we can use our built-in Phaser utilities. So let's do const, we'll do overlap points, we're going to set equal to Phaser, geometry, we'll do intersects, now we want to do get rectangle to rectangle. This method expects us to pass two rectangles, so we'll do our player, we want to do get bounds, and now for our object, we'll want to do get bounds. Now we're just going to do a console log, and we're going to log out those overlapping points. So now in our browser, we're going to see a bunch of empty arrays being logged. But once one of our game objects overlaps with our player, then we're going to log out our array, and it's going to have some objects in it. These objects represent the point of where our two rectangles overlap. So how this works is for our rectangle, we want to check four things. So if this represented our jar, and this is our falling object, we want to check to see if our green rectangle, if the right side of it goes past the left side of our jar or our other rectangle. We want to check to see if our left side goes past our right side, if our bottom goes past the top, and then if our top went through the bottom. For our falling object game, we only really care about this direction, but the same principle applies. Once we detect that our rectangle overlaps, we have 2 points where our rectangle is touching. That array represents those 2 points of where our rectangles overlap. So once our array has more than one value, we know that our rectangles are touching. And with that, we know we have a collision. And that's it. And so we don't need to write the math ourselves. We can rely on our built-in utility functions of Phaser to get those intersection points. So now that we have those points, we can just check our array. And so if our overlapping points, if our length is greater than 0, we know we're overlapping. And so we'd want to remove our object. We'll destroy it, and then we'll remove it from our array. Then one other thing we'll do console log, and we'll just say caught item. So now, as our objects fall, if our object doesn't touch our jar, we don't do anything, but the moment that they overlap, we log our message, and we remove the object from our game. So this follows the same lifecycle pattern as before for when our game object moves off our screen. We'll do create, update, and remove. Our collisions don't change our rules, they just decide when a removal will happen. So what we're doing here, this is important. Later on, when we look at things like our physics engine, our engine can do this for us automatically. The engine will handle our collision detection, our response, and our edge cases. But if you don't understand what's happening underneath, they feel like magic. Now you know it's rectangles, it's math, and it's comparisons. So now our game reacts, but there's no feedback yet. In the next video, we'll add scoring and UI. We'll separate our game logic from our presentation. And this will finally start to feel like a real game.